Try it again. Let's see if we're rolling here. Let's see if we got video here. We're editing as we go. We're on the fly. Sorry about that being late. Let's see everybody get in here, and we will roll the open, assuming the audio is working, and I think it is. Do apologize. I do the hard wiring thing. Hardwire act. There we go. You know what I'm saying, right? I believe we're actually rolling here. There we go. We are rolling. Okay. I do the hardwire act. We had the Wi-Fi going. It kept bumping in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So now, without further ado, we're ready to roll the open in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Well, it's baseball time in Siouxland once again. The Explorers are out to bring home another win. And when they take the field, they'll be hitting and running and stealing. So come out to the park for that big league good time feeling. Well, it's baseball Sioux City style. Baseball Sioux.
Baseball style. There we go. Okay, a couple things too. First off, welcome to a special Tuesday edition. I believe. Let me check my notes here. 25 days until we open in actually Chicago. We'll be in King County that week, but we'll be in Chicago on that Friday. And here in a moment, you're going to meet somebody. Another reason we're late, but he's got the Zoomies, is because Toffee came back from doggy school today. So I was going to be a few minutes late getting on with Bruce anyway. And then we had the internet issue, and now it's sort of, he's going to come flying. There he is right there. There he is, folks. Toffee, wave at everybody. Say hello. He's looking for mom, who's not here. Instead, he's stuck with me. Okay. Explorers Expresso, Dan Vaughn with you. I know Bruce is in the wings. He's been waiting. Let's jump in there. Bruce Fishback's going to join us in a moment. My big question for you first, because a lot of you folks have been watching hockey playoffs. Not a lot of you Musketeer fans have been watching hockey playoffs. My question today is the best playoff in sports. What is it? Is it the Super Bowl? Is it the run to the Super Bowl? Is it the World Series? Is it the hockey? Is the NBA? I would tell you, I believe it's probably hockey, baseball, football than NBA, although the football is different because it's not really, it doesn't have the series impact. I think physicality wise, the NHL 7 gamer is pretty tough. The NBA is probably the least of the fun. I mean, those are pretty much blowouts, aren't they? Pretty much. I would say the NFL is unique because it's different. It's the fact that you got it's one and done. Also, a very physical thing. As a dog's going nuts here, and then we've got Tommy. Come here, buddy. And then I would say it's obviously the baseball right behind the hockey. So let's go to Bruce. He's standing by. I'm going to unmute him here. Bruce Fishback joining us right there. He's going to come in at 3, 2, 1. I do believe. Hold on. Let me push the button that says show him the screen. There he goes. As we're having all kinds of fun here. There he is. Hello, sir. How are you?
Welcome.
Welcome to see you. Good to see your smiling face as always. Our head trainer of the year in 2025.
Yeah, that was a very nice honor.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's a great honor. It was a great, well deserved. I've known you a number of years and watched you from afar. John says, Bruce, come here, Tommy, get in here. The dog's he's the son of the show today too. He just come back from doggy school, but. I want to start with that. I mean, it was a great honor. It is cool. And what a lot of folks don't realize is that honor, I'm not voting for it. It's not that's your peers. That's a cool thing. Somebody out there likes you, that you work around the other trainers.
How about that for a surprise? Yes.
He is the GOAT. He is the GOAT, as John says. I think that's great too. Walk me through the year with that. I mean, when you're working, because you have a unique relationship where, let's say, Mongo and whatever manager, Chris Coast and Fargo, they're adversaries in the field. They want to beat each other. Pitching coach, same thing. You're trying to beat them as a field staff. You're part of the field staff, but also you have a collective well-being involved for all the players, and there's a relationship you build with those other trainers. Uh, Elaborate on that a little bit if you could.
Oh, absolutely. We all work together, and should something bad happen on the field, we're there to help each other. Um, and it's a very unique relationship to be able to do that. And like you say, put aside team differences.
Yeah,
And then we also end up getting relationships with players on the other teams as well.
right.
And then,
Right.
and speaking of Chris Coast, I like when he's playing at our place and he's in the coaching box there at third base, and I'm just kind of chipping at him the whole time, and we have a great time.
Right. I mean, you got a good seat down there that far in. But I mean, is that? I mean, that's funny you bring that up because I vision when I vision you, it's the picture we used last year in the promotional. We took a lot of those, and you're in your spot. I mean, I know where to find you.
Yep.
Is that your spot? Is that something that a lot of guys do, or young ladies do that are in this business, or is that your view? Where is your? Because you're in that spot every time.
Well, I like that end of the dugout. The other end of the dugout, those guys are going crazy down there. So it's best that I stay away from the coaches and the
Right.
manager. So I go all the way to the other end. And like you said, I have my own space. Everybody knows it. Um, I still think some of the players are trying to hit me with foul balls. They rocket some over there pretty good sometimes. But, yep,
Have a spot, and I know, again, I can pretty much, I know that I can look at a quick video clip and know if we're at home or away if I know where you're at. If we're at home in the third base side, there's Bruce down there. I know, so I know he's right
yep,
there here in Explorers Expresso. Bruce Fishback, our trainer of the Sioux City Explorers, talking X's baseball and all that implies here on this 21st of April. A little early this week. I've got a loaded week because I'm trying to get all my things organized and get them all up to Iowa and all that. And with that being said, Bruce, what was your off season like? How was it? How's it been? Or how is it still going?
I had a great off season. One of my former graduate students um, is the head athletic trainer at Wayne State College in Wayne, Nebraska. So she wanted to know if I'd come in and give them some help. So I went and traveled with their women's basketball team and then with their women's softball team. We had a great time.
Wow.
And then I left them a couple weeks early so I could kind of rest and recuperate and get ready for the X's.
Which coming our way, you'll be a week from Friday, I guess. You'll be you're already obviously in the area, but a week from Friday it all starts. You've got, I mean, without getting into a lot of details, I know there's a lot of paperwork, but not getting a lot of details. I mean, as far as the nitty gritty, but you have a lot of things you've got to have ready to go May 1st. I mean, there's a whole protocol. Maybe give the fans the nutshell version of what is on tap for you a week and a half out.
Well, actually, my stuff started mid-February when I went and ordered all our supplies. I mean, you got to have a couple of Band-Aids and a couple of rolls of tape. So I got all that stuff ordered and then delivered to the stadium. I actually went there yesterday, unpacked all those boxes and put everything away. So I'm ready to go. And then, like you mentioned, May 1st, we get rolling and we'll have a team meeting. And then we'll have the athletes, they'll all fill out their health history forms. And then we do physicals on probably 30, 33 baseball players coming to town. So we have great support from our team doctors, Multicare, Dr. Scott Sneller, Family Health, Dr. Michael Brenner, and then CNOS with Dr. Meese.
Great partners of ours, and you've built
Yes.
some phenomenal relationships there. I mean, you've got the job of the certified athletic trainer, but you've got the tentacles are out there. You've got a lot of support folks there, and it's very important to build those relationships.
It's critical for what we do. Um, we are, to use the term, we're a special needs population in that when an athlete gets injured, we got to get them back as quick as we can, and we can't wait 2 weeks to get in to see a doctor. And our people are all really good that if we send them a text message, they answer right away, and we get seen right away.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's an amazing thing what you guys do. I have nothing but respect for what you do. But I don't know why I'm having issues with the show at the moment. But It says we're live, but I'm just looking here to see if we're live. Let me see where we're at. Okay, here we go. I'm just making sure that we're. I heard myself earlier, but I don't see myself now. So you guys talk amongst yourselves while I see why I'm not. Why am I not? Hmm. Bruce, I know you're there. Hold on, let me see why
I'm
we don't
here.
have. I know you're there. I've had a real fanatic day, and it's weird because I'm all good. Okay, John says we're good. Okay, well maybe it's just my phone, so we're all good. All right, I was just worried there. It says we're on, and I'm like, wait, I don't see us, but there we go. We're good. Well, thank you very much, John, and Explorers Expresso. Dan Vaughn with you again. It's been a real crazy day. You know, this is that time of year. And you know this because you're doing it. What we just talked about. I mean, little things for my little world, it's okay. We need this script done, and we got to have this done. I'm working on the 1950s Sioux City Sues now, and all that kind of stuff. So it's all a moving goalpost, so to speak, constantly. But I get it. So make sure we were still on. Uh, what is your favorite part of the job? I mean, maybe it's a loaded question. There may be multiple favorite parts, but you're in the off season. What is it you're looking forward to for the season?
Well, obviously the two best days of the year are opening day and the end of the season. It's like being a boat owner, right? Day you buy it, the day you sell it. Those are your two best days, and can't wait for opening day. All the excitement that goes on with that, and then you go through that course of the season, and then you do look forward to the end of the season, and hopefully you're smiling, you're holding up some sort of an award, championship, getting ready to fit for rings, and that's something we need to do.
Absolutely, it's something that's definitely on the board there. What keeps you coming back? I mean, I know for me there's reasons, but keeps you. I mean, we both have reasons, but what keeps you coming back? I mean, you could kick it, right?
Yep. Well, I think that the reason I come back all the time is because it makes you feel like you're young, right? I mean, when I'm helping with the college kids, I'm surrounded by 18 to 21 year olds, and now I'm going to be surrounded by professional baseball players who are again 21 to 30. And while I might be a couple of years older than them, it makes me feel like I'm a part of that group, and I just love that activity.
It's fun, no doubt about it. Bruce Fishbach with us here. Dan Vaughn, Explorers Express. A little April 21st edition, 25 days out. Here's we talk little X's, some training. I am going to something. I stumbled across something. I'm going to save it, but this is why I was Yankee related, but I'll save it for a bit later on here. Uh, well, one thing for guys like me and you, the bus rides sort of suck, and I've kind of come up with this whole thing, and I've had a couple. I've had this thing, maybe writing a book about the bus rides and survival skills because everybody's got them, right? I mean, everybody's got. I mean, I talk to the coach in Grandview High School in Texas, Josh Harris, and I talk about this all the time. And these high school kids are like, "Oh my, we only drive 2 hours. I don't know how you guys did 10 hours, or whatever." But I'm thinking at some point I need to get everybody's. So, what was your chapter? I said, "All right, Bruce, you got a chapter on survival on a bus. Maybe the outline. What would the topic be? Bus survival in the American or any association for that matter."
Well, first of all, I think if you're going to talk bus survival, there's got to be a list, right, of the supplies that you need on that list. First of all, you have to have a charging cord,
Yeah,
right? And then you've got your phone. You might have a tablet. You might have your computer. Going to need a pillow and a blanket because
charging cord. Pick up charging cord.
and we keep our bus. I mean, you could haul meat in that bus. I mean, it's cold, so you got to have a blanket, and then you just got to kick back.
Right. Funny because in the summer, I summertime shorts time and comfortable.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm wearing pants and long sleeves, and I mean, I've got to pull over a thick jacket on that bus because I mean, it's cold. I mean,
Well,
it is. Even if it's not supposed to be, it's cold.
well, we'll roll into a truck stop, and it's 100 degrees outside, and we're all getting off the bus in sweatshirts, sweatpants. Everybody looking at us like we're crazy. Yep.
Get off of my glasses will fog up when I
Yep.
put my glasses on. When I walk out in the warm, I'm like, because it's so cold in there. It's crazy. I'm thinking. I really believe that there's and maybe that's not a survival book. Maybe it's just the stories of the bus because that to me And when I look back, like I'm sitting around, I don't know, we're in Belize last month, or I'm at, Christmas holidays and having a cold wood and reminiscing about the season. A lot of time, it's not so much the games. Yeah, the games are cool, and I love when we walk off. But my memories of the season usually are on those bus rides. I mean, there's always something. It's just a camaraderie, even as a broadcaster. And I would imagine you still get the same feeling sitting in your seat. There's a camaraderie thing about that bus.
Oh, absolutely. And then when you start mentioning stories about on the bus, I mean, think about 2 years ago when we're sitting there and go, "Do you smell smoke?" Yeah, I think we do. We should pull this thing over.
I'll never forget. I'm sitting with a state house rep. JD Schulten and I are sitting on suitcases a quarter mile down the road, looking up the stars. I'm thinking, you know what? I think this guy's gonna be able to tell his constituents, or even the people in the state house. His buddies sitting next to him at the state house who votes for whatever they're voting for. He's probably at home with the kids, probably sleep with the wife and the family and tucked away. Here's JD on the bus watching it burn. I was just like, that was just such a memory of mine to sit there and watch that whole thing. That's a wild thing. Is that? I know it's moving back a couple of years, but is that one of the craziest things you've ever been through in your role in your business?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's not something that's going to happen
Right.
every day, every year. Thank goodness, right?
Yeah. No.
Um,
Amen.
but we've had all kinds of things happen.
Right.
I mean, you fly somewhere with a football team, or you're going to fly somewhere with a football team. You're flying commercial, and all of a sudden, the plane's not available. Well, we've got to get there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are all kinds of stories.
Mars Expresso, Dan Vaughn with you, Bruce Fishbach, our trainer with the Sioux City Explorers, Trainer of the Year in 2025, a award well deserved. Now, we've talked a little bit your background over the years. Obviously for years you were there at the Yotes in South Dakota, but you're a Nebraska guy early on, and we've talked about this on the show
Mhm.
before. But you were at a time. I mean, Nebraska's sort of on the upswing. I think a lot of across the board. Obviously all their sports starting trending
Mhm.
different direction. But you were there when there really were about 10, 12, and I'm just going to use football programs. And that's sort of my thinking here. Football programs that you knew every year were going to be in one of the marquee events in the 80s. And you were there. You were there. It must have been so cool to be a fly on the wall in those experiences. Do you have those notes somewhere?
Oh yeah, oh, absolutely. Some of somebody mentioned about all the baseball stuff that I have behind me, but the other side of the room is, there's a Nebraska football helmet that's signed by Mike Rozier, who was there um, doing a little bit of running back stuff. Um, great memories of being at the University of Nebraska as a student, and back in the dark ages when they let athletic training students take care of people. Um, great memories. And I love it when we go to Lincoln and we're sitting in Haymarket and we're looking out and over across the other side of the highway there is, and I keep telling the players, I go, "You guys want to go to church with me tomorrow? There's a cathedral right across the way."
And over the years, some guys have actually gone over and done the tour over the years. I think they still do tours there, don't they? I think they
Oh
do.
yeah.
I think they do.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a really cool thing. I love that. I mean, I grew up in a time when this is all Big Eight days, but when there were again. It's still that way now, I guess. It's just maybe the teams have shifted a little bit. It's maybe instead of 10 teams, it's 20. But I mean, you knew every year that Oklahoma or Nebraska were going to be the two, that Big Eight were going to come out of there and
Yep.
go to the Orange Bowl. You just knew, and that game was going to be the one, and you knew. And I never, I mean, Nebraska, I mean, was another planet away, but not far away, it was another planet away. But it was viewing that you definitely stopped down to watch because you didn't get all the games we get now, and the energy then must have been just unreal. What was the energy like when your student days, when the Cornhusker heyday?
Well, I'll go back to, it was one of the it was the it, literally it was the first time they had lights at Memorial Stadium, and it was so cool because with the light focused down on the field, it brought all the attention literally to the field. And before that, we always had to play games during the day because obviously you didn't, no lights. And that was, talk about energy, and you just felt it. And there's nothing like being on the sideline and when the crowd when you've got 70 to 90,000 people, they start cheering for their team. And, in Nebraska, they have a thing where one side of the stadium will yell Husker and the other side will yell Power, and they just go back and forth. They were even doing that at the NCAA basketball tournament
That's
when
awesome.
when the Nebraska fans took over. It was awesome.
That's great. I mean, and that's another thing too. I mean, again, I love. I mean, I'm obviously Texas Tech. That's my thing. And season ticket holder, all that stuff. But I love the storylines this year because I mean, it drove me. I was still not believing that Nebraska never won a tournament game. I mean, I was just like shocked by that. I'm like, I mean, all the history of basketball, this was their. I mean, I couldn't believe that. I was shocked by that. But now it seems like they're on the right track. I guess.
I texted my college roommate right at the end of that game, and it was a one-word message, and it was finally, finally. Yep.
Bruce Fishbach, the noted Cornhusker, and of course, I love those years there at South Dakota up there in Vermilion. All right, I'm going somewhere with this because last week Emma was talking about the Mets. I know she's a Mets gal, and I know that you are Yankees. We didn't really talk about that last year, but what was the Yankees? Where'd that come from? Is it something you got growing up? Family? You just loved them? What was the story there?
You know, both my parents were from Minnesota, and I can remember that on my grandfather's farm, they'd sit around with this little transistor radio, and they would listen to the Twins games. Um, Dad and Grandpa would sit there with beers, and I had a root beer, and it's just, wow, it doesn't get any better than this. But if you knew our family, it's like we can't always root for the same team.
Sure.
And for some reason, I took the Yankees and have been a fan since.
I read a thing today. So it was just coincidental. When my early morning reading after I did my morning devotion, I was reading, and there was a former player wrote this, and it was about Whitey Ford's son was talking about. He used to go to the ballpark with his dad, and and during like like young kids do, their dads will take them to the ballpark. They're around the players, and I didn't realize this story, but apparently Mickey Mantle would show up, very late whenever the team was already in the field. Well, apparently, and I didn't know this story, but apparently Whitey Ford told this story that apparently Mantle was in his later years was so banged up and he was needed so much taping and so much, treatment.
Mhm.
He didn't want his teammates to see him. He by being late, he kind of set an example. He didn't want to let them see that he didn't have any excuses why he wasn't performing. He didn't want them to think that, oh well, he's not playing or not playing well because he's hurt. Did you know much about his history of his injuries late in his career? I didn't know that, but I heard that story today. Crazy.
All, all I knew growing up is that he had knee issues. And I'll have to say, as an athletic trainer, when you start talking about who's your favorite athlete, my favorite athlete was Lou Gehrig.
Yeah.
I mean, 2,130 straight games with the the Wild West medicine that they had back then, where sport nutrition was a hot dog and a beer.
Yeah.
I mean, to me that was incredible. More incredible than Cal Ripken, who had modern medicine to help him.
Actually, and it's funny you bring up Lou Gehrig. There's a I did this little segment, for the high school game dinner about Texas Hall of Famers in baseball, and there's a guy, Peps. Oh gosh, I got to drew a blank here. I got to find it here. Anyway, he was Lou Gehrig before Lou Gehrig. He actually played like he was 30, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Went in the Hall of Fame, the Veterans Committee. But Peps, oh gosh, gonna draw me a blank here. I didn't even heard this guy, and I did this little dive, this deep dive here. Let me find his name here. Not Biz Mackey. It was the other one I was doing. But this guy was a Hall of Famer, and he had, the whole story of Lou Gehrig is a tragic one, but this is a guy that was after the fact. Anyway, my question to you is, I'll get to I'm beating around the bush here, but my question to you is, Lou Gehrig, that was a time when, I mean, sports medicine and medicine was different. I mean, it had to have been I mean, can you imagine? I guess my question, can you imagine being an athletic trainer in 19, whatever it was? I mean, what did you do back then? Just roll the medicine ball out and some balm and go, you're okay? What did you do?
Oh, absolutely. And back in those days, the athletic trainers, their knowledge was their paycheck. So they didn't want to share. So I'm told that back in those days when it was time to tape an ankle or a knee, they do it underneath the stadium. They do it in a back room somewhere so nobody could see how they did it because they didn't want to share their knowledge.
That makes sense, and that's probably why. And that whole Whitey Ford story about his son saying, "Why?" Because he asked his dad, why is Mickey Mantle? Why is
Yep.
he? Why was he late? He didn't want. They kind of did it in the back. The back room there was sort of like a out of sight, out of mind.
Mhm.
Didn't want his teammates to think he was bad off, and vice versa. And let me see. I actually found this guy. It is on. Hold on here. I got it. I drew a blank on this guy's name, and uh, 'cause I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy, and I got to find him here. If I can find it in my little cheat sheet here, not Runnels, not Vincent, not Smokey. Oh yeah, it's Ross Youngs. You ever heard of a guy named Ross Youngs? Youngs.
No.
Yeah, I had never heard of him either. He's a Hall of Famer, but apparently he had a similar ailment, but it was more, well, not similar ailment. He had a more of a liver issue that he had 10 years prior to Lou Gehrig, and this guy was, this is right before, he didn't get a chance to do the speech like Lou Gehrig did. I'd never heard this story. Anyway, I know why I got derailed there. I get derailed sometimes, as I will do on a broadcast. But this guy, I'd never heard of this guy. He's a Hall of Famer, went to the Veterans Committee, but apparently he had a 10-year career. Boom, went home to Texas and never came back. It's tragic, but it's been a different time. And you've seen, I mean, I can just tell you from the broadcast standpoint, I mean, we're able to do things now we couldn't do 20 years ago. Boy, how much is changing every year for you guys?
It's incredible. I mean, I think as a student trainer back in the day, when we did ACL surgery, we used to put the leg in a cast. And then the big move was to cut holes in the cast so you could put electrical pads in there to make the muscles work a little bit.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
now they're moving them right away. Think about Tommy John surgery.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, my goodness, they're doing that on 14-year-olds now.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it used to be. I mean, my dad was in Hardin Simmons and tore his knees up. And back in those days, you want to be the service. But back then, the officers, he wanted to be an officer because he was going to college, but they
Hmm.
wouldn't let you be an officer if you had torn up, had knee surgery because your knees, they weren't like they are today. And they had the big zipper and all that, and so he could be an infantry guy, but he couldn't be an officer. And it used to drive my dad mad. But then he used to say, "Well, if I'd have been born 15, 20 years later, I've probably
Yep.
been an officer." And that's how much things changed from the 60s to the 70s. Only imagine what it's like now. It's crazy how that is, man. I mean, they can just go in there and boom, you're done. It's amazing. How much does that affect? I mean, do you spend a certain amount of time in the off season? Okay, what am I up on?
Oh, absolutely. As an athletic trainer, to keep our medical license, we have to do continuing education units. And we're required to do 50 classroom hours of stuff over a 2-year period. And so you get to the off season and you start doing that stuff and you try to catch up. You go to meetings, conventions, and see what's new out there.
Um, it's
Yeah.
amazing how much what you do and what we do in the broadcast side very similar. Now, granted, it's not we're not saving lives or anything like that, but they're little things, and I'll catch myself. I've already done a little research, a couple things that might be, they're little things that people probably won't notice. You'll never even hear me talk about, but it's a little tweak that
Hmm.
we're gonna do here with this. It may be just a patch cord. It may just be something we're doing differently, or it may be 2 years ago we bought a brand new board and was able to do some things we couldn't do before. It's amazing how that technology is here on the was Expresso. Dan Vaughn with you, Bruce Fishback with us here. Trade of the year in 2025. Looking forward to 26. Now, uh, you what a lot of folks don't know is that you're also. I mean, you are a huge baseball. I mean, you're a sports guy, but baseball, that is your thing, man. You love baseball.
I do. It's a game that makes you think.
Yeah.
The situation changes with every pitch, and it's a chess match, and that always intrigues me.
Yeah, it's amazing amazing the little things. It's like I saw putting the same guy that wrote that piece about Mickey Mantle said, it's the little things. I mean, you look at and it's funny because in the broadcast I'll say, hit the cutoff man, and you know, uh, you know,
Mhm.
Not the little things that we just sort of take for granted as a broadcaster. That if you do those little things, you're probably going to win. And it's amazing what the game is like, where you can get a guy lighted up from three for a quarter and maybe put you over the top. In baseball, it's the little things. You don't do those little things, and you're sitting down there and you get a great. You had the
Oh,
best seat, well, second best seat. Well, it's the best seat. I think your seat's better, uh, but it's a great seat. Do you ever just get so into it that you're like, oh wait, I'm actually the trainer. I'm just. Do you take it as a fan, or what is your mental state when you're really into the game?
well, I work to get everybody ready for the game, and then when the game starts, I do become a fan and a big X's fan. Golly, we want us to do well,
Yeah,
and but you also have to have that sense of calm for when something happens that you can react.
right.
Yeah.
Snito's asking, can Bruce talk about his most memorable on-field injury memories? Scariest, maybe. How about this one? How about the most rewarding? Has there been a scary injury going back in time that you were rewarded in the end? Maybe the kiddo or the young man or young lady made a comeback.
Oh, absolutely. I'll go back to my University of South Dakota days where I had a swimmer dive into the shallow end of the pool and ended up breaking his neck. And we were able to, I was walking by the pool. It was just unbelievable timing. Walked by the pool, saw he dove in. I went, oh, that can't be right. And I go in, and we backboarded him in the pool, took him to the hospital where he had the halo cast put on. And he was a freshman. So he redshirted his freshman year, and he came back and swam for 4 years. And that was a very rewarding thing to see him graduate, you know. So that was pretty cool.
That is cool. That's great. Love that story. Family, keep you busy. I mean, you've got to. They're blowing and going all the time. They're a very big part of the Explorers family as well.
Yeah.
Fans that don't know, Bruce has got a very, very, very awesome support system there. Give them a shout out, would you?
Oh, I couldn't do this without him. My wife Kelly, the kids, Elise, who's out in Eugene, Oregon. They come every summer for about a month with the two granddaughters. Um, Ryan, my oldest son, um, who's a former baseball player himself, catcher, and then my daughter Kylie, who's going to be at virtually every game, and then my youngest son Dylan, who once again will be there with Kelly. They've got their seat, their little area, all mapped out, and they're ready to go.
We talked last year about Dylan's career. He was a phenomenal athlete as well, and did and on the international stage, right?
Yep, yep. Dylan was a professional wheelchair basketball player, played for 3 years over in Germany. Um, and when we start talking about the international stage, Kelly, who's a phenomenal basketball coach, switched to wheelchair basketball when Dylan started playing that form of basketball. And now she's the team leader for Team USA women's wheelchair basketball team.
You're busy. Busy. I mean, I don't know what you do in your downtime. I guess it's just, well, I know what you do in your downtime. You're at the lake or you're with the family, right?
Right? And right now I'm at the lake. Going to
I,
enjoy
I
a
know
few days.
another view, another view. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate what you do. I know the fans understand. I mean, because what you do, we don't want to see you, not because I want to see you. We like you a lot, but the idea is the less of you, the better off. But I think the fans should know what a great job you do and just what a special part you are of the family. And I appreciate just the camaraderie and just having, answering my ridiculous questions on the bus. I always appreciate that too.
Hey, it we have an amazing group. From our leadership. We've added Travis Lee, our field manager Steve. Bobby, Raf, you, and then all those players. And let's see what we bring in,
Let's do
right?
it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see you in a week or late next week, my friend. I
Yep.
appreciate you as always.
Well, thank you for having me.
Best to you and your family. I appreciate it. Thanks for fighting through the technical stuff today, too. I appreciate you.
You're the one that had to fight through it.
Well, you had to wait. I appreciate it. Thanks, Bruce. Appreciate it right there. He goes, everybody. That's Bruce Fishbach right there, our trainer. Boy, the trainer of the year in 2025, and well deserved, man. He is something else. One good dude. And I think as we kind of break that whole thing down and turn to our next segment here, which is going to close it out pretty quickly here, is I think he sums up what I said to you a lot. And I talk about this a lot. And it's I think you've heard something very similar. I'll go back to Raphael, to Bobby. I know Mongo because Mongo mentions it every time. You've heard it from me. You've heard it from Bruce. Relationships matter. Relationships matter. You know, those things matter, and they are huge. And what not just outwardly toward other teams, but also inwardly amongst the family. They matter. It doesn't mean you're always going to get along and always going to agree. There may be some hurt feelings now and then, but you love each other no matter what. And I think that's the thing that I love the most when people ask me about my job. And I have a lot of people ask me, it's got to be really cool. It is cool. It is really cool to call games and to be your eyes and ears everywhere we go. I'm your eyes and ears. But the real cool thing to me, as I mentioned earlier, was when I was talking to Bruce, is my memories are not yeah, I love the walk-off wins, the home run calls, and all that. But my thoughts are getting on that bus, a funny joke, or for example, I'll pull the curtain back from last year, and I probably should ask Bruce this. We pulled into, we crossed from Canada the second time. We had to go to that first town as you cross the border. I believe it's Pembina. We had to pick up a couple of our players that couldn't go across. And this, the memory of them getting on the bus, Felix Cepeda, it was, who was the other one? It was Cepeda and, was it Otana? I think. I know Cepeda was one, but they got in the bus and the whole team clapped and they were so glad. It was just a great moment. And seeing them come out of the hotel was sort of like, if you guys seen the show Schitt's Creek, that whole Canadian. It was a little bit like that. The hotel looked like that a little bit, very rustic, but it was so fun to see these guys come in and just the whole that moment stands out for the season. It's one of those things I remember. It's the little things about crossing the border with the team, or as Bruce mentioned, going to the truck stop. Getting off and it's cold as ice in the bus, and it's 1,000 degrees outside the bus. I mean, just those little things you remember. And I think it's all what you're hearing, and I hope that you guys understand this. Is I can't tell you it's like this everywhere because I don't know. I've been other places in the league and I know how it is. I would say, Gary was Greg Taggart had a very similar situation there in Gary. When I was in Kansas City, Joe Capietra had a very similar approach. But what I love about the approach with Steve Montgomery, and it really comes from our owner, John, and really Travis and on down, and of course, Tom, who's now in AAA Louisville, everyone that's been a part, go back to Shane, when Shane was there, Shane Tritz, who's now in Lincoln. There's a certain there's a certain quality of individual that's a part of the baseball family. And I think you see it in Bruce, and I hope that you see it in everybody. And as a fan, I would encourage you guys to know that, you know, while, we're out there, we have a certain relationship that you can be proud of. That when the team's winning, and even the team's not winning, there's relationships there that you can be proud of that we're representing you and the Explorer's name first class and with love and compassion. You're going to see that again. When Bruce said relationships, that's the same thing we've talked about every time. Every time. I mean, Emma said it. Emily talked about it. Emily talked about the sponsorships. Emma talked about the relationships as well last week. I mean, it all comes up. It's all part of it. So, Explorers Expresso, Dan Vaughn with you here. Let's round third and head for home here. We're doing this show early this week because of a couple things. And which turned out the weather didn't cooperate because it's raining here in Dallas today. So my game this afternoon, I originally had a game this afternoon and a game tomorrow. And instead it's going to be a game tomorrow, but no game this afternoon. And we have there's a league call tomorrow as well. And there was all kinds of moving parts. So I just moved it a day earlier. We'll be back next week. Now, here's the deal coming up. Just so you guys will know, report date is not this Friday, but next. Here's the amazing thing. This time next week, you're going to have guys driving from their homes to Sioux City. I can already tell you, I've got names of guys that I know when they're going to be there. Because I'm able to know when they're showing up. I was on the group chat. I know. We're going to be there May 1st. Their physicals. You heard, Bruce talk about the physicals are coming up on the 1st, right? Yes, Kitty. Trainers are invaluable. They are. The relationship those guys have and gals have. I know, what important they are at every level, and the high school level as well. Very important. But it's amazing to think this time next week everybody's going to be on the road getting there. So this show next week, now because I realize it's a weird week, we're going to move the show around next week as well. I believe, now I got to confirm this with Mongo, but I believe we're going to do the show on Thursday instead of Wednesday. And we'll do kind of a quick spring training preview with him. Perhaps got to clear it with him, of course, but it'll be Thursday-ish because I got to get up there by Friday before. I don't want to show up on Friday and go. I got to get there and get set up as well. I got a whole closet full of broadcast gear and things I got to get up there. And oh, by the way, my pants, right? Help to wear pants, Vaughn. Helps to wear pants. Little things like that. So anyway, everybody be heading up that way next week. And we'll be rolling right along. Media Day will be the Monday following. So it's actually 2 weeks from yesterday. And you're going to be in the spring training games. You're going to look up, and we're going to have spring training games the following week. So we're 2 weeks away from that. Association baseball's here, folks. We're in season mode here. It's Mongo. What did I say, Mongo? I think it's Mongo. What's up, buddy? Anyway. Hope he's doing well. Anyway. I guess he's jumping on John's phone. Anyway. Okay. A couple things here. I haven't seen the transaction sheet today. I guess I could pull that up. I have the transactions as of yesterday. Maybe I can just pull that up real quickly here because I went a little late today getting the dog back from doggy school. By the way, Toffee, who you saw earlier, is in doggy school. He is being trained to be a service dog. And it's a pretty big deal. Oops, dropped my mic there. He's going to be trained probably for folks that either, hearing issues, when they hear a doorbell, if there's a fire, whatever, or he'll be working with kids on autism or have some learning needs or just need some support. And he's being trained right now. We've been fostering. He's great, man. He's awesome. It's been great. We lost Max back in January, but having him around has been really cool. But he was in doggy school this morning too, and he gets back right as the show started. So we had that going on as well. And it was raining outside. So I do appreciate you guys understanding there, but I didn't get a chance to check the transaction sheet. The update today, just some names here. Nothing really jumps out at me. Jordan Mosqueda was signed by Milwaukee. He's been in the league. There's been a couple of trades in Milwaukee. Nothing really jumps out at me. But last week, a couple of names: Garrett Alexander back in Fargo, Dakota Chalmers in Kansas City. Just a couple of names of note, guys that are back. Parker Harm back in Fargo as well, and they added an infielder, Matt Kroon. Just a couple of names to watch, but Harm, they got two of their arms back. And then Cleburne added Delano DeShields Jr. It was late in the day Wednesday. So there's some transactions of note. There's others there. You can go to aabaseball.com for that as well. X's business as well. A couple things I didn't get to last week. I didn't get to, but I wanted to. A couple things. Congratulations to Dan Butler. Was with us last year. Dan is going to be working in the Atlantic League. Landon Barnes is going to be working in the bullpen as assistant hitting coach as well. You can see that on the website, but you've got his bio there. But Landon, of course, backup catcher for us last year, did fill in and was the bullpen coach late last year. He's going to be working in the bullpen as well, be one of our coaches. So looking forward to having a young man from Houston back as a support staff. But congratulations to Dan Butler and to Mr. Barnes on those two assignments. So that's really cool. And I just want to pass those. I didn't get to those last week. Around out time. We had Andrew De La Piana as well on. So that was with along with Emma. I will take your questions and comments here. If you guys got anything, I go back to my original question. Are baseball playoffs the best? I believe, and I'm a baseball guy. I think the World Baseball Classic's the best. I think the baseball playoffs are the second best. Hockey, to me, because of the physicality of the game, that 7-game, if it goes 7, it's pretty impressive. Last night, if you're watching the hockey, you watched, double overtime for Carolina and Ottawa, and then you had a game, there was another game going on at the same time in Dallas, and you had one on the West Coast, Edmonton and in Anaheim were going on. All that was going on, high intense. There was a couple of comebacks as well. The NBA started over the weekend, and they were just a bunch of blowouts. Like, of course, the NBA's tricked it up. They got the play-in games and all that, which is cool. I think it's cool to add more to it, but for the most part, the chalk held in game ones. Very rarely a number 8 beats a number 1. It happens. It's only happened a handful of times, but in general, it's not your 3 and 4, your second round, third round in the Western Conference, Eastern Conference Finals of the NBA. Do you really get your surprises? They're out there. There are the Golden States of the world who beat Dallas many moons ago. There are those upsets here and there, but in general, the home court usually works out in advantage in those first couple rounds of the NBA. But I do believe the hockey of the playoffs. That's my personal. I'd love to hear what you say. Kenny says the same thing. Hockey delivers every time. It does. It does. I agree. I mean, it really does. I mean, it's one of those things, and I think the thing about it is the physicality, just the sheer physicality. I mean, now, there's not NBA's not a physical game. There's a reason why we don't play 7-game series in the NFL because it's really physical. Most of your gridiron, your rugbies, your Australian rules footy, your NFL are going to be one-offs. That's why, the college football playoffs make it the finals a big deal. Super Bowl's a big deal, but it's a different run, right? It's a one-off. It's a real grind and a march where a 7-game series is a mini season in and of itself, and I believe the hockey's the best of the bunch. I think baseball's right behind it because what I love about baseball is the one thing you don't get anywhere else is that you may have to make a decision based upon the way, let's say you claim let's say go to the World Series and you had to run your ace back out there that 7th game and he is on limited rest, but you want your ace, he may go game 2, right? So you may roll the dice in game 1 and go with, number 2, 3, or whatever the rotation is. And a lot of times you got to make a decision later on in the series. Okay, my ace only went 5, he went 6. He's coming back on 3 or 4 days rest. How does that affect? He works in the pin. How does that work out? And those storylines are always interesting to see and how you manage the series. And hockey is similar, but I think baseball, of the managing of the series, is where the managers really have to, take those things into effect and take those things into account that you don't get any other sport. But I would say my personal ranking is the hockey, the baseball, the NBA, and then I put football in a separate category because you don't do the series like you do in those other 3. So that's just my take here on Explorers Expresso. Last call, questions and comments. What you guys got? We can hear you. Okay, I'm going back here. I had, again, wheels off today. I thought I won't use the hardwire today. I already packed it up for the trip, but no, I had to unpack my Ethernet cable, this long Ethernet cable, and I'm going to repack it now. So it's all good. All good. Okay. Buzzsprout, or you get your podcast, you can go check that out. Hey, thank you. For you folks that are tuned to the podcast, thank you. For you folks that go and check it out later on the podcast, thank you. We have really seen our podcast with very little bells and whistles outside the extra content I throw in there. We've seen it grow, and no one is doing what we're doing, and I'm very proud of that. And I hope that you guys are appreciating the extra coverage, the extra effort. I know that I know that it's one of those things that's a labor of love, but I really appreciate you guys who take the time to download the podcast. And we've been hitting some really impressive numbers. What I thought you told me 2 years ago, we'd be cracking, three digits or triple digits for the episodes. I'd have been no way. I just want to get 5. Getting 100 is pretty impressive, and I think that's really cool. And that's all because you guys are the best fans, and I appreciate it so much. All right, next week, report date on Friday. We'll have a show on Thursday. We'll get the pre-show deal. Jason says, can't wait for the season. I can't wait either, Jason. Can't wait to see you either, my friend. Can't wait to see all you guys. It's a really special time for us. A lot of work's been put in. I know Travis is got his hair on fire, our new VP and GM. And by the way, again, congratulations to Tom Backmeyer. In case you missed it last week, I did announce that he is a AAA Louisville's general manager, and that's a really big deal. It's a major market. It's one step of the big leagues. Congratulations to Tom. But Travis's hair is on fire. You heard Emily 2 weeks ago, Emma last week, all doing great things. We're going to have Jessica on down the road. We got some things in the hopper. Andrew Della Piano will graduate from Syracuse in 2 weeks, and he'll be there the week you open up. So there's all kinds of moving parts, and it's here. And we're going to be here and ready to go and looking forward to the season. So, again, next week, I'll be traveling on Wednesday, so you will see the show on Thursday. and get ready for the report on Friday. And then we have media day on Monday. We'll be rolling right along and getting ready for the season. So looking forward to that. Okay. I think that's it, man. I don't got nothing else. There was one more announcement today the league did give. I guess I should give this real quickly here too, just because I saw it. But the league did announce that the partner today, Forever Lawn. I don't have a graphic, but I saw it right as one on the air. Forever Lawn, a new official partner of the league, turf partner of the American Association, and congratulations to the association brass. Josh Schaub, Josh Buchholz, Chris Brown. Brownie's been working tirelessly trying to get some traction in some of those departments that you're seeing right there. And I really appreciate all three of those guys, their work promoting our league. Looking forward to catching up with all of them during the season. Any upcoming expressions, shot on location? Sneaky, yes. Answer your question. Sneakies will have a live show, I believe, tentative. We do a show every year, kind of the first show during spring training. Not the one we're going to do next Thursday, but during that week, there'll be one at Sneakies, I believe. And then I believe when we get home, we'll do this. When we get home from the road trip, the first road trip, we'll do Sneakies that opening night, which will be Friday. We'll do a lunchtime show there. I think we did 4 shows there last year. We'll do 3 or 4 this year, something like that. So, yeah, that's the plan. Take it on the road. On the first road trip, we will do a show. The actual show on I'll give you the date here quickly, folks. Sorry about this. May 13th is a Wednesday. It's 11:30 start in King County. That show will be live from King County, but we'll be live we're going to test out the booth cam and see how that works. And we're just going to shoot the show live from the spring training game. It's 11:30 start that Wednesday. So we're actually going to that'll be 3 weeks from today. Is that right? 3 weeks? 1, 2. Yeah, 3 weeks from today. 3 weeks from today we'll have that. So we'll have that one for you as well. All right. Y'all ready for Go X this time? You guys ready? I'm ready. We're all ready. Go X this time. Go X this time. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for Toppy, who made a brief appearance. He's back downstairs now watching out the window. Toppy, you here? Want to come say hi? No? Well, you saw him. He came and checked in and he was done. He didn't like Max and just kicked it the whole time behind me. Toppy's got other things going on. All right, Go Access time. Love you guys. Again, thanks for taking the time out today. Let's be better fans tomorrow or today. Let's show more love tomorrow we did today going forward in 2026. Have a great rest of your week. Download away. And looking forward to seeing you guys next week on Explorers Expresso. You guys ready? I'm ready. Thanks to Bruce Fishbach. Thanks to the entire X's family for being a part of this one. Thanks to all you guys who stopped by. Let's get going here. Let's put this in the screen here. I'll be ready to go. Show it to you. Here we go. Thank you very much. That's the wrong one. Let's do it this way. There we go. There we go. That's the one I'm looking for. Wait, Ron. Hold on. Let's try it again. I pressed play before I actually went. Let's try it again now. We'll do Go X's. Here we go. Safe travels. Thank you very much, Jason. Here we go, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Go X's. I'll see you next week, everybody.
Well, it's baseball time in Siouxland once again. The Explorers are out to bring home another win. And when they take the field, they'll be hitting and running and stealing. So come out